There's this quiet revolution happening in banking right now, completely changing it from the inside out. The old world of just going with your gut is giving way to a new one, where every single major decision is powered by data. So how exactly are banks making this huge shift from just a feeling to hard facts? Let's dive in.
You've probably heard this quote before, right? It's a classic, and it's really the whole idea behind this transformation. For, like ever, banking decisions came down to a banker's personal experience and their intuition. But in today's world, where everything is super competitive, intuition alone is a massive liability. If you can't measure your risk, there's no way you can control it. And if you can't measure what your customers are doing, you can't possibly serve them well. It's really that simple. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about the big shift itself. Then we're going to unpack the data-driven cycle that banks are using. After that, we'll see some real-world examples with data in action, and we'll wrap it all up with the culture shift that's needed to make any of this actually stick.
Okay, first up, the big shift. This is all about that fundamental move from relying on a hunch to demanding hard facts. The very idea that's changing banking from the ground up.
So what does this shift actually look like in practice? Well, it's called data-driven decision-making, or DDM for short. Just think of it like this. It's a new rule where every single business move, from saying yes to a loan to deciding how many tellers you need on a Tuesday, has to be guided by facts and numbers, not just a gut feeling.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because this isn't just some high-level theory, it's super practical. You want better risk control? Great. You're using data to predict the probability of a default before you approve the loan. You want to understand your customers better? Perfect. You're analyzing their transaction data to spot big life events, so you can offer them the right product at exactly the right time. It's powerful stuff. So we've got the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. This next section is all about the data-driven cycle. This is the actual playbook for turning raw numbers into much, much smarter decisions.
And here it is. This is the playbook. This 7-step cycle is basically the engine of data-driven banking. It's a process you can use over and over again. It always starts with a real business question. Something like, hey, why are we turning down so many loans for small businesses? Then you go out, collect the data, clean it up, analyze it for clues, make a decision based on the evidence, and, this is the really crucial part, you monitor the results to see if it worked, so you can keep getting better.
So, what's the fuel for this whole engine? Data, of course. And banks? Oh man, they are sitting on an absolute treasure chest of it. We're talking about everything from customer info and transaction histories to credit scores and even data on how you tap your way through their mobile app. Every single one of those data points is a potential clue that could help solve a business problem.
All right, Section 3, data in action. Theory is great and all, but the proof is in the pudding, right? Let's look at how this playbook actually delivers real, measurable value.
So, let's start with a classic headache for any retail bank. How do you sell more products to the customers you already have without just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks?
The result of a data-driven approach? Bam! A 20% increase in cross-sell conversions. By analyzing transaction data, the bank could pinpoint exactly which customers were most likely to need something like a personal loan. That let them target their marketing with incredible precision. A 20% lift is a huge win.
Okay, next up, let's talk about one of the most critical jobs in any bank, managing credit risk. How do you figure out who's a safe bet for a loan, especially when you're dealing with small and medium-sized businesses?
The result? A reduced non-performing loan ratio. By using predictive analytics instead of just the old-school methods, banks were able to significantly cut down on their NPLs, which is really just a fancy way of saying loans that are at risk of going bad. Lowering that number directly protects the bank's bottom line. It's a huge deal.
Oh, I love this slide. It lays out the entire journey perfectly. See how it starts with just a simple observation? Hey, we're not seeing as many young people opening accounts. The data review confirms it. Boom, a 25% drop in the 18 to 25 group. So they look at market data and get an insight. Competitors are crushing it with digital-only apps for young people. The decision? Obvious. Launch a new youth account. And the result? A 15% jump in that exact customer segment. It's just beautiful.
Okay, on to our final section, the culture shift. And this is so important because, look, you can have the best data, the best tools, the best tech in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset across the organization, none of it matters. This last piece of the puzzle is all about the people. To really make this data-driven thing stick, to make it part of the company's DNA, you absolutely need these things in place. It has to start at the very top, with leaders who demand to see the data before any big decision is made. Your staff needs to be trained to actually understand and question the data. The tools have to be easy for people to use, and you need rock-solid governance to make sure the data is accurate, secure, and used in an ethical way.
And when you boil it all down, this slide says it all, doesn't it? The entire cultural transformation is about moving away from asking, what do I think we should do, and instead asking a much more powerful question. What does the data tell us we should do?
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. And it doesn't matter if you work in a bank or not, just think about your own world. What's the one decision that you or your team or your company makes right now, based mostly on a gut feeling, that could be totally transformed if you just had the right data? Because that right there, that's where this whole journey begins.